YouTube. Story time. Me and my partner Miguel, the one I was telling you that I knew for about 25 years now. We was at the shop over here, and I don't know if I told you previously, but the very first time we met, I had bought a 1964 Chevy Impala convertible from him. And the day I met him at his home, there happened to be a house fire 2 or 3 houses down the road. And him and I both ran over to that residence. This guy was so amped up and so strong, they had a security door on the residence. Of course, it was locked. This guy, boom, muscled the whole door, I think off the hinges, but at least opened it up. One or the other. Point is, it was locked. And it wasn't too secure. Hence the word security door. Anyhow, there was 2 occupants inside. One occupant had fell asleep with a cigarette in his hand on the love seat. That's what ignited the fire to begin with. The other individual was in the back asleep. So Miguel was giving commands, you know what I mean, to me. Hey, take this broom, bust that window out. He's yelling for the other occupant in the back. The home is smoke fields and everything. So we insisted on getting the 2 gentlemen out. Fire department comes, saves the home or what have you. But regardless, it was a fire. It was our first instance of meeting one another. Day 1. 23, 24, 25 years ago. I lost track. Just the other day. Him and I were at the shop. He was chit-chatting with me. I was chit-chatting with him. I looked over his shoulder. I said, hey, man, look at that fire over there. And I could tell it was a fire because it was black smoke billowing up in the air. But it was coming from a hotel, a nearby hotel. And he goes, you want to go be firefighters again? I said, nah, not really. I said, matter of fact, by the time we get over there, fire truck's going to be there already. What's the point? So we chit-chatted some more for about another minute and a half. And he was like, well, let's go over there. I said, yeah, I think we should, man, because that smoke getting darker and darker. The color of it was getting darker and darker. So we took our sweet time. We walked across the street to where the hotel was. Again, we took our sweet time because we figured somebody else had already called the fire department. Somebody else had already put in the call. Can't assume that in this life, in this world. Even though everyone has cell phones, everyone is not aware of their surroundings. That's rule number 1. You may be more keen to your surroundings than the other individuals that you see day in and day out, whether you know them or not. See, a lot of people are not perceptive of their surroundings or things that's going on. They're too into their phone. They're too into their worries. They're too into anything else but what can possibly harm them or save someone in this particular example. So we get to the back of the hotel, and apparently someone had burned some clothing outside the back patio area of this hotel, right next to the building. So this fire was going on, and it was catching the outside of the building on fire as well, which was made of wood. So my instinct was to yell fire. I learned a long time ago, people respond to the word fire. They don't respond to help. They don't respond to yelling random names. They do respond to fire. So my first natural instinct was, fire, fire. Wake up, wake up. Yelled that about 3, 4, 5 times. Now remember, we're in the back patio section of this hotel. So people have a sliding door to their back patio. Finally, a couple opened their sliding back door. To their surprise, it was a fire right in their face, right next door to theirs. So also, I heard no sirens. No sirens was en route whatsoever. There was a business right next door with a fence separating the hotel and that business. but they had a water hose sitting on the ground. It has to work, right? I had to jump this fence, barbed wire at the top. When you got adrenaline going and you have other people that are dependent on you at a moment's time, you got to do what you got to do. You don't think, you don't hesitate. So I had to jump this fence, turn on the water. Luckily, it was operational. Hand it to my buddy Miguel. He handed it to the occupants that came out the back patio of their hotel room. They started hosing this thing out, but it wasn't going out. At that time, it had became too enlarged. So one of the occupants went inside and grabbed a bucket of water, which was funny because the little bit of water they had in the bucket, they threw it at the fire and completely missed the entire pile of clothes that's burning. So the water hose came in handy, but they were just watering the top of it. You know what I'm saying? So my buddy Miguel was saying, hey, you got to open that pile of clothing up, get to the fire. It's still smoldering inside. By this time, we hear fire trucks coming. You know what I mean? Well, we kind of had a little bit of control of it. But they showed up 4, 5, 6, 7 engines deep. Real deep. So that's what they do. They come in hard. They do their thing. They break down doors. They break down walls. They inspect inside the walls. They do their thing. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, be observant of your surroundings at all times. This was early in the morning. This is probably maybe 9 a.m. Somewhere around there. Maybe 8:30, 9 a.m. Many people were sleeping. Many people weren't aware of what was going on. Many people took a minute to hear the call for fire. But you have to be ready to take that call at all times. You have to be ready to assist someone in their time of need. That's why I made a video about men wearing flip-flops out and about. You're not prepared to help anyone. You can't do anything. You can't hop that fence to get to that water hose to save the occupants of that hotel in flip-flops. You got to think about what scenario you might be in to save your life or the life of others at all times. That's why I tell you and made a video about men wearing flip-flops in public. If you're at your home in your leisure, do as you please. But you never know when something unexpectedly will call for your need. Will call for your assistance. So be prepared for action. Don't hesitate. Respond. Unless you're putting your own life in danger, then that's up to you if you want to proceed. But be prepared for anything. Be prepared to assist anyone, especially those that are vulnerable. Women, children, elderly, sleeping adults in a hotel that has a fire right next to their building. You don't want to see a fire over yonder and found out that occupants have died in that fire when you could have taken action prior to the fire department showing up. So to get back to the story, here we are 20, 25 years later, reliving the first instance of our friendship. That's pretty ironic. That's deep. Maybe we had a calling to be firemen in our earlier lives. Who knows? But it's just a strange coincidence that him and I are doing what him and I did 23, 24, 25 years ago. And we're still around. We're still blessed to be here, to be functional, to be able, to be mindful of others. We still have the capability at our age to give assistance to anyone, to respond to anything. That's a blessing. You need to count your blessings day in and day out, regardless of what higher power you may believe in. But that's all I got for you, YouTube. Remember, around here, we keep it all the way peanut.